Welcome back, folks. I'm gonna work on some one-point perspective blocks, and I'm gonna show you how to punch holes in them. So, kind of like the last project, I'll do some stuff over here. You do it on your own over here. All right, so let's get busy. As per usual, you need a horizon line. Also, vanishing point. Gonna make a box up here. Oh, messed it up. Let's try that again. Up a little bit, connect the corners, and chop it off. Sliding that on over. Sliding down till it hits. And getting rid of what I don't need. I'm going to make the boxes first and then come back and punch holes in them. Box that crosses the horizon line. Pretty decent. All right, let's connect it. It's a little bit off. I'm gonna let it slide. Slide this over. Chop it off. Use a big eraser this time. Get rid of some of this. Get rid of the lines inside there because we want to pop that box up. Or overlap. Revisit. Uno más, one more. Chop it off. I'm gonna make this one a long box. Alright, so I got my 3 boxes. Time to put some holes in. So I'm gonna show you how to do it on the front, our original rectangle, and I'll eventually show you some on the side or the bottom, okay, or the top. Does not have to be perfectly centered. I'm gonna put one right here. Smeared it. Okay, so how do I make it look like this goes inside? I'm going to connect this far corner to the dot. I'm going to stop when it hits the wall here, or when it hits the other side of the rectangle. I'll show you. I'm going to do this lightly, and I'll show you why in a minute. Bam, I have a hole in it. Now, if I don't want that hole to go all the way back into there, I'm going to chop it off and chop it off. Right? Pull this down and cut that across. And then erase this right here. I know I'm going fast, but you guys can fast forward, rewind, all that jazz, pause it. I'm going to make this line a little bit darker now. Oh, yeah, I guess I better line up the vanishing point. Try not to smear it as bad as I am. So now we have a recess, or a hole into our cube. I'll do it again on all three, and then we'll come back and we'll try it on the sides that are not facing us directly. Right, so do another one. I'll make this one closer to the edges. Time to connect it. So since it's crossing the horizon line, I'm going to have two of these things this time instead of just one. So I'm going to connect this corner right here to that, but stop when you hit the edge of your hole. So there's like a floor there. Let's make it a hallway. Cool. So you could leave it like that if you want it to go all the way back in, but I'm going to chop it. Alright? So we'll bring this line over, bring it down, and then I'm going to go straight across. It's going to be a little bit more subtle. So it reminds you of maybe a windowsill, something like that. And later on you can decide whether this is just an edge or this is an edge and another wall right here. But we fix that by adding shading later on. So another one down here. And I'm going to pretend that it's maybe a storefront window kind of thing. You can make the box or the rectangles for your holes whatever size you want. It's a little bit of an angle, but it'll be alright. So once again, I'm going to connect the corners that I can to that. Can't connect this one, can't connect that one, can't connect this one, so it's got to be this one. Stop when you hit the edge. Draw a little bit lighter this time so it's easier for me to erase. There we go. And once again, I could leave it like that if that's the purpose. If I want it to look like it's going all the way back in. If I don't, I can chop it off. Since this is straight up and down, this is going to be straight up and down. Since this is straight across, this is going to be straight across. And erase this one I don't need anymore. Alright, so on the fronts we started with an entire rectangle. If we do a hole on the side, we're just going to start with one line. We want to know how tall the hole is going to be. So we'll do one right here. And for the top and the bottom, we're going to connect to the vanishing point, but you don't need it to go any further than the edge. Save yourself some erasing. Again over here. And since things get smaller as they get further to the vanishing point, I'm gonna make the space between the edge of the box and the edge of the hole smaller over here than it is over here. So to add to the illusion. Yeah. So as it stands, it could be maybe a poster or a glass window that we can't really see through, but we want a hole or a recess. So since we did the edges at angles, we're gonna come in horizontally. It's kind of the opposite of a front window. There we go. Interior. Can go right inside there. Fly your little spaceship in. If I want it to have an edge, since this is straight up and down, I bring it straight down. Now what about this line? I need to line that up with the vanishing point and kick out this way. So if I hold my pencil there, line it up with the vanishing point, I can kick it out over here. So now it appears that I've got a windowsill going on over here. So you can kind of go into that box now. I'll do another one here and here, and then we'll try to do one on the top of this and the bottom of that. So once again, if it's on the side, do I start with a rectangle or do I start with a line? Yep, start with a line. So I'm going to start right here. We're going to pretend it's a little doorway or something over here. Connect the top and the bottom to the vanishing point. Remember, you don't have to go any further than that edge. And then slide it over and chop it off. There we go. So I can get rid of this stuff I don't need. To make it go inside, go to that little corner, bring it in. There we are. If I want to chop it off, you can start with this line, or you can start with the line that goes that way. I'm going to line up with the vanishing point because I've got such little space there. And then I'm going to bring this up. Now get rid of what I don't need, this little tiny spot right here. Now I have another ledge. Do one more over here for you, and then we'll do these two. I'm going to start mine down here, go almost to the top and bottom of that. So I'm going to connect this dot to the vanishing point, and that dot to the vanishing point. drop it down. There we go. So I need to bring it inside. So like I said before, you could leave it like that if that's what you want, but for today's purposes, just like on the other ones, we're gonna give it an edge. So I'll start with how thick we're going in. Slide it in, drop it down. Need to kick this out, but line up with that vanishing point. So I'm gonna hold my pencil there, slide it over, line it up, kick out. Get rid of my little line back here. And so that's it for punching the holes. Now we get another level with the shading. So where should I do my light source? I'm gonna put my light source over here. And for today's purposes, I'm gonna have it coming at the fronts, like our first, when we did the first 9 boxes, it's going to be similar to that. So the front edges are going to remain white, and the bottoms will be dark, right? So if it's coming at that, I'm still going to have some shadow up here. Same thing here. Same thing here. Do some better shading than that. Nothing to shade here. Nothing to shade there because we're below the horizon line, right? Since we can't see anything on the right side of our cube, we don't have to really worry about the medium. The only thing we have to worry about is the dark. So at the bottom of this one, it's going to be dark. That's pretty much it on that one. Now I could, depending on if you wanted to or not, if you wanted this to not be another wall here and not be another wall here, the inside would probably be shaded, but I'm going to leave it. We'll try to keep it a little simple today. Down here, so light's coming in at the front. I might have a kind of, since this is medium, that's dark, I might have a real light shadow over there. Same thing here, I might have a real light one. Real light. That's up to you. Those ones right there are optional. So what I want you to do is try to attempt to do the same thing over here. Keep in mind, you're going to be able to see the right side of stuff. I'll show you what I'm talking about. And I realize this is upside down, but don't pay attention to the dark spot. But the right side of your boxes over here is going to be darker, right? Main thing today, I mean the shading is cool and all, but I want you to master punching holes and stuff. Cool? Since I'm feeling generous, I'm gonna do one more over here, just so you know how it works with the light source. You can do the top and bottom ones on your own. So let's do one right here. That's not vertical. Should be. Let's see if I can fix it. It's a little better. So there's my box. Need to connect to the vanishing points. Chop it off. Slide that over. And erase what I don't need. Get rid of what's inside here. Alright, so for the front holes, you need a rectangle. Since it crosses the horizon line, I'm going to have two going inside, just like over here. And since we already know how to do that, we're going to make it like these. We're going to give it an edge. So I'm going to chop it off about right there and bring this straight across and that straight across. I know it's pretty close. Hopefully you can see it. There we go. Let's do another hole. And I'm going to start with this end and kick away from it just to show you there's more than one way to do this. So that's how tall my hole is going to be. And I'm going to kick it out. Go. Need to bring this in, bring that in. And chop it off. Make this one a little skinnier. Oh, let's see. Need to kick out, but it needs to be lined up with the vanishing point. Same thing here, going to kick out. space what I don't need. So since my light source is over here and it's hitting the fronts, this side is going to be medium, right? Probably got some more shadow inside of this thing too, right? That's definitely going to be medium. That's going to be dark, kind of like this over here. All right, so let's make it happen. So there's my wall. Remember the ceilings of our windowsills are going to be dark. So I darken that in. Same thing here. Medium here. Not too shabby. And you can play with it some. I mean, if I wanted this to be a really dark interior, I could make this completely dark, so maybe pretend there's no lights on inside there. But for today's purposes, we're really mostly worried about how to correctly make the holes. The shading is kind of secondary. So your job is to make another box up here, connect it, put holes on both sides, another box here, connect it, holes on both sides. And I left you hanging, right? I forgot to put a hole on the top and bottom. I'm going to leave that since I've already shaded it. I'm going to put a hole here. And the same way it works over here, it works over here. Start with the line, connect it to the vanishing point. Remember, you don't have to draw it any further than the edge of the box. And chop it off wherever you want. I'm going to darken this line a little bit. This time we're going to bring the hole down. So I'm going to bring this down here, starting at the corner. And you can see why it's helpful to chop off, because we want it to make it look like all these things work together. Connect it, line it up with the vanishing point, right, to get this line here. And since that's straight across, this is going to be straight across. Get rid of this here. There you go. Hit me up with an email or a comment if you have any questions. Holla.